So it's Sunday, so that means it's NFL football day. The Panthers just lost to the Chiefs by 3 points. Now, let me just start off by saying this. These types of games on the NFL, like, we're supposed to lose. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's supposed to be nasty. It's supposed to be a blowout. You're supposed to turn off the TV after one quarter. But the Panthers, they stuck it. They stuck it to the end. They made them work for it. Defense is incredibly young. We lost two of our star players, Shaq Thompson and Derek Brown. Everybody else is pretty young. The defensive line is there's some veterans up there. There's like two veterans, and A'Shawn Robinson and Shy Tuttle. We're up there, but we're missing Derek Brown, that key piece. He was our star, and we lost him game one, so that sucked. But other than that, it's nice to finally watch Bryce Young, do his thing and see, him kind of come out and, like, be a good quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And we've, since day one, I've always been, we got to develop. And last year was a crap show. And the start of this year was rough against the Saints. Threw a pick on the first, and then he got benched. And then Andy Dalton came in, had a hell of a game against the Raiders. Then kind of sucked the next couple of games. They got in a car accident. Then Bryce came off the bench, and he's been playing really, really well the last couple of games. So, as a fan, it gives me some hope. It's been rough the last, 19, 20, 21, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 6 years now. So, yeah, it's about time for a change up. So, I love the coach, Dave Canales. He's dope. I've always been an advocate for a young coach. The game is changing. We tried the older, more experienced coach with Frank Reich and fired him after half a season. And then now we have Dave Canales coming in with Dan Morgan at general manager. So I liked, I kind of see what the strategy was from Tepper, where he was like, Tepper's the owner of the Panthers, where he brought in an older crowd just to see if old school would do it, and it didn't get it done. So now he's bringing in the younger people in this. So Dan Morgan used to play for the Panthers. Absolute dog. Was an ex-linebacker, was great. And then Dave Canales was with the Bucs last year as the offensive coordinator. Took him all the way to the playoffs. And then now he was also with Seattle when they went to the Super Bowl, so he had experience there. So, to say the least, it doesn't feel like a loss. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you watch football, you know what watching your team lose looks like. You know what I'm saying? And to see a team that sucks, like the Panthers, put up a fight against the defending Super Bowl champions, an AFC team that's 9-1. You don't really see that. We were supposed to get dogged by them. Like, we got dogged by Denver. There was a lot of things happening in that game where, the defense just didn't show up, and it was bad. But we didn't get dogged by the Chiefs, so that's kind of a win in our book. It's something that we're not used to. We're not used to being in the game up into the fourth quarter. Usually the game is lost in the second quarter with the Panthers. So it was cool. It was refreshing, but it's nice to see that, like, we've been building week to week, and that's something that, like, it's cool. It's cool to look at, from an outsider's perspective, when you're like, you know what, the football analogy, the football world, you can learn a lot from it. And there's, that's me and my sister, we always use football analogies. Just showing up every day. I watch the press conferences, and that's something that they stress. It's like day by day, show up every day and all things like that. So that's why I like football. Like, football has kind of been obviously like an escape, to watch a team play. But the mental, all the things that come from it when you watch it, and, the style of the game, the practices, and you see, how much work is being put in off the field and on the field and stuff like that. And that's what, like, it makes being a fan so good, because you feel like you're a part of the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're watching this happen. But also, I love the game. I think the game of football is really cool. It's like chess. And I don't really know how to play chess, but I know it's a scout-based thing where you have to think in advance. And it's the same thing with football. Like, you'll get up there, if it's a run-heavy team, you have to load up the box, make sure that it don't break the gaps here. Are you blitzing, or are you just loading it up to make it show like you're blitzing? You know what I'm saying? So it's like all these different things that you have to counter, and that's what makes the game a lot of fun. And the slow pace of it gives you the opportunity because it's like a chess match because you're just like, ooh, like you really got to think about it. And then once you get the momentum going, boom, 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 and it's good. And then you start riding the wave. So at least to say, it's like, it's pretty dope. I enjoy watching it. And, the Panthers are on the come up. You heard it here first. But other than that, we're getting ready for the week, Thanksgiving week here. I got family coming in down on Wednesday. My aunt and my uncle and my little cousins are coming from Washington. My mom and my dad are coming from Norfolk, and my brother coming from Brooklyn. So that's cool. I'm excited for that. This year, I want to be a little bit more intentional with Thanksgiving. Usually Thanksgiving comes and goes, and, we're excited for Christmas and stuff like that. But this year for Thanksgiving, I really want to be present in that and really be thankful. I try to do a good job and express my gratitude for, things around me and the people in my life and stuff like that. But on Thanksgiving, that's kind of like what the holiday is for. Literally, to be thankful, not just for the food on the table, but the relationships. So I'm going to try to do that this year and really appreciate the moment and be thankful for, the people around me and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will call a couple friends up, just say what's good, check in on them, see how they're doing, express my my gratitude for their friendship, and, call out that. But yeah, so that's kind of like all it is on. I know at the end of the last podcast, I figured out what the problem was, and it was just that my battery was really, really low. So I don't have the battery that like plugs in and you can charge it, or it stays in your camera, like the all-day battery, I think is what it's called. But I'm gonna get one of those. I have one, like a little battery rig for it. So there's a huge battery that's attached to like this rail, and there's a plate, so the battery just clips into it. And then it has like a dummy battery that goes into my camera. The battery charges the fake battery to charge the camera. Well, to power the camera, and it lasts a long time. I think I just charged a big battery, and I've had it for like over a month and a half, so it's crazy. So you can get the same thing for like a podcast setup as well, where I don't know why I'm so like gassy. Yeah, I'm gonna get one of those soon because using just the regular battery, it's like they're good batteries, but I didn't realize that they were close. I also kind of just threw on the camera and pressed record on the last one. The pre-production checks I don't really do with my own podcast, which I need to start doing. But as I continue to grow and increase this, increase the podcast, all those different things will follow suit. Because I do that for the podcast that I produce outside of my own. There's a checklist that I go through mentally. I need to bring it physically to actually go through it. But it's it kind of like I was saying earlier. It's like day by day. I'm figuring things out as they come to me, and we're getting better at that. So yeah. Anyways, what I was gonna say was I talked about using this podcast as a platform to talk about social media and like what I envision things going into, because I noticed that I got a little giddy. I got a little passionate about it when I started talking about it on the last pod. So we're going to go that route. And I'm going to kind of like break down, what I do. And because here's the thing. When you're an entrepreneur, you're not just a business owner. You're everything, especially starting out. And that's something that I understood, I think, probably from day one. I think from that, I've expressed this a couple times where there's this video of me kind of like breaking down. And it's like that first video that if you watch the JMC in a year or something like that, it's the video where like I have my hoodie on and it looks like I've been crying and super distraught. And that's when I was getting home from a run that I had with WT. And I was driving for 9.5 hours, and I got home. I was just like, like this sucks. You know, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to start my business. Da, 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 da. And from there, like I realized like my job wasn't just going to be like one thing. So I all this to say like I'm giving context before I dive into what's happening, because it's like, yes, I started JMC, and yes, I started taking videos and editing videos and posting content and using that vocabulary and different things like that. But the truth is that I'm not just that. And that's why I never put myself in a box. Like I never said, oh, I'm a videographer, or, oh, well, you know, I do this or I do that. And when I did say that, I just felt weird. Like it just felt off. So what I'm trying to say, it's like now 2.5 years later, I can still say the same thing. I'm not just doing one thing. I'm doing a million other things. I'm doing the receptionist job. I'm doing the accountant job. I'm cleaning. I'm the janitor. I'm the what's it called? The collections. I am the producer. I execute. I do a lot of different things. Like I was producing a podcast the other day, and I realized I was setting up the lights, setting up what the picture would look like in a sense, like with the colors and all that different things. And I asked ChatGPT, and I was like, ChatGPT, I'm doing all these different jobs. Can you like put these out? Like, can you give me like what the list of these jobs are? And it was always different jobs: director of photography, director, producer, grip, all these different things. Director of photography, DP, like lighting, gaffer, I think is the name of it. And I was like, damn, like I'm doing a lot of jobs. But that was just on a podcast set. But on the business side, I'm doing everything. Or, you know, in an established, veteran business, you have employees in those places. So for me, not only am I doing the job of going out and filming and doing that, and I'll get into that here in a second, but I'm also building the business. I'm working on the business. I'm crafting, what the actual business does, what we sell, what we do, what the customer service is, how we treat the employees. I'm pre-planning all of that. So in, a couple years from now, less than a year, maybe a year or two from now, once I have employees in that, in those positions, the business starts to run, and, marketing and all that starts to run. Oh, not to mention I'm also the marketing team for my own company. You know what I'm saying? Like adding on top of that, like all those things move smoothly. All those things have processes. So to kind of rope it back to what it is I do, I have a process. And I've been working on this process, this system, for the last 2.5 years. It's something that I've been trying over and over and over again. Something I've been working with Dr. Sam with for the last couple of years. It's something that I started when I was working at WT, an idea of how can I make video content or videos to properly market the product or service that we are doing as a company. And the goal was to create videos to be posted and utilized on social media organically or paid, meaning just posting your average daily stuff and then putting money behind it to run it as paid ads. The sponsored thing that pops up on Instagram and stuff like that, like those are ads. Like we come across those all the time, right? But something I noticed was the industry that I was in, which at that time was construction, there wasn't really any good ads that going out there. And I was just like, who would buy this? A lot of the business comes from word of mouth. So I was like, there's got to be a way to leverage these platforms, because clearly businesses are doing it. So I saw that, and I was like, you know what? I want to use my drone. I had a skill where I knew how to fly a drone. I knew a little bit of videography and a little bit of like camera stuff. So I was like, you know what? Let me start doing some drone work. Did some drone, make some cool videos. But I realized that like making those cool little cinematic videos, like it wasn't going to cut it. Like the idea was, how can I take this and go even further? So this was 2022, the end of 2022 going into 2023. And after I got fired from WT, that's when I started figuring out, I've been seeing these things like these videos on Instagram with like zooms and captions on them with like yellow fonts and then popping out and there's sound effects and all these things. I started noticing that. I was like, whoa, well, there's a lot of these, but they weren't paid. So I was like, okay, so this is organic content. And the guy who was Alex Hormozy, if you don't know who Alex Hormozy is, he's an entrepreneur who does a lot of cool stuff, writes a bunch of books, and he teaches entrepreneurship for free, right? So a lot of the, I started learning all this from him, but not necessarily the stuff that he was putting out, but how he was doing it, because I that's what interested me. So I saw him doing that. And I was like, okay, can I replicate this, or what is this? Like, what is he doing here? And I tried breaking down the concept, and I started talking to different people. I was like, okay, well, we could do this. So come January, I was like, okay, I know that I have the capability to make these types of videos. I taught myself how to edit. I know I could do it. I knew it was weird, but I wanted to try it. And that's when I sold Dr. Sam on. I was like, all right, Dr. Sam, let's do 25 of these videos. I'll come down to Charlotte. We'll make them super easy, and we'll take care of it. Boom. Okay, he agreed. Got down there. We did the videos. We started posting them, and then I started to see how his audience, his current audience on Instagram, was reacting, in a sense. How are these people receiving these little stupid videos? And they're receiving them kind of good. They're like, oh my God, these are great, da-da-da. Like, we saw an increase of engagement. More people were commenting. I was being seen by more people. The reach was increased by a lot. So it was working. But we realized that, again, it wasn't going to cut it. How can we get better? And then it evolved from there. It went from, okay, well, we already did this type of style. Can we create another style, which was more relaxed, behind-the-scenes stuff? Just asking him questions about his personal life and things from his childhood and all these different things. And then it graduated to starting a podcast. So Dr. Sam has a podcast called Smiles Ahead, or the Smiles Ahead podcast, which I produce. And we started it, and I said, Dr. Sam, all I need you to do is just put out content. That's it. Just start putting out episodes. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to get guests. If you get guests, great, but just get it out. And he's on episode 50 now. And that took almost 2 years to get to that point. So now that I'm here, I'm helping him with that. So, boom, right? Point is, though, we understand that there's still more different types of content, because just posting these podcasts isn't doing anything. So I'm helping him create a strategy using the system that him and I have been working on in the processes that I've been creating, bringing on the table and saying, hey, what do you think about this? He goes, yes, no, maybe so. I'm going, okay, well, how can we craft this system specifically for you? So whatever you want to call that, systems creator, processes creator, I don't know. But the thing is, it's like I feel like an artist. Like I feel like, this might sound weird, but I feel like I'm creating custom clothing for a client using high quality material. And that analogy is being used because the type of camera that I'm using, the type of production, the type of, gear when it comes to microphones, lights, audio, and just, the story behind everything that we're going to do and we have been doing it's not what I did, which was very simple. This is a little more complex. There's different things behind it. We're going to start doing training videos now inside or in-house, and that's a whole nother story. So that was a lot, but that's what I do. I am the guy that business owners come to that says, hey, this is what we're doing for marketing, and this is what we're doing on the content side. And I can look at it and I go, hey, this is good, but we can be better. And I see that there's some areas from improvement here, especially from the content side. Because what I've found over the last 2.5 years is you can have a kick-ass marketing team and have the right people in the right places, but the content side of things, there's no bridge here. You have your content creators, and then you have your marketing team, but there's nothing that's connecting them. I can confidently say that I feel like I'm that connector. I know I can speak the language of the marketing team when it comes to paid ads, to pay per clip, or pay per click PPCs, all these different things that people monitor. The Google Analytics, I can read, I can understand it. The YouTube Analytics, the Instagram Analytics, I can read that. I can bring that back and say, hey, here's the ROI for the ad spend. Here's your ROAS that's coming in, return on ad spend. Like, I see your goals. This is what's happening. You're pumping money into this post, but it's not making anything. We need to figure something out. What campaigns are we running here? Are we doing, discount deals here? Or are we running just ads on billboards? Or like, how are we doing this? Community events? Or what are we doing here? So I understand that side of it. And then I understand the content side. I go, okay, well, what are we using for the camera here? Are we using our cell phones, or are we using a Sony cinema grade camera here? Are we posting vertically, 16 by 9? Are we doing 9 by 16 here? Okay, well, how long are the videos? Are they 32 seconds or they're 60 seconds? Because if it's 61 seconds, then on YouTube, it's not going to post as a YouTube short. It's going to post. Well, I guess now I think it posts as a short. But before, at 60 seconds, YouTube wouldn't put on a short. And then it's like, okay, well, what elements are in the video? Sam is he's a built guy. So I'm like, okay, are we showing off the muscles? Are we giving him a picture where like his muscles are kind of popping, or are we keeping him limited with like a jacket on with the logo? Like, what are we doing? Small elements that we know as content creators people are looking for. What stops the scroll? You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to get too deep into that, but point is, I know how to mesh those two together, and I know I'm not the only one to do it. I just think my way is really good, and I'm confident in that. So I'm creating, and I'm not going to go in my room and regret it because I really don't want to stop this flow. But I have a document, it's like a 7-page document on everything that I've seen, everything that I know, and it's just put it in a simple way. I use ChatGPT to organize it, where it literally is a strategy where I could put it in front of someone and go, here's your strategy. But they're most likely going to look at this and go, what the fuck is this? And I'm trying to solve that because I don't want people to go, what the fuck is this? I want to go, people go, oh, yeah, we can start doing that. So that's my current challenge, is trying to take everything that I had in my brain, putting it on a document so I can just give it to someone and say, hey, just here's what you have to do. But the goal is for them to go, ooh, that's a lot of work. Oh, can I just hire you to do it? I go, yes, you can. I will do it. I will install the system for you. So it's like upgrading your PC, or upgrading, or like getting, I don't know, what's a good analogy for like guys? I can say, it's like getting new pre-workout. Get certain pre-workout. There's different stuff in there. This one has more B12 in it. You have more energy. A girl analogy, I don't know. What's a good girl? It's like getting your nails done. Like you could do, my sister, she does her nails by herself, but she taught herself how to do it, and it took a long time. But I think I'm out really good. Y'all should hit her up. They do really good. She does really good work. Or you can go to a nail salon and do it. And that's all service-based industry is, or service-based businesses are. It's like you're paying someone to do the work that you can do. We all could do something. Like we could all teach ourselves how to do something and then do it. It's harder. It's more articulate. But point is, they're saving time. Like that's essentially what I'm saying. Is I'm saving them the time that it will take for them to learn everything that I've kind of learned and kind of take care of it. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm at the point now where it's like, that's great, and I can come here and say, oh, well, I have the best strategy, da-da-da-da-da. Like, why should I buy from you? Dude, that's the main question I've gotten over the years. It's like, well, what makes you? Like, who the fuck are you? Or like, what makes you different? What separates yourself? And I go, well, honestly, there's really not that much different from me. It's just like everyone knows this, like in the marketing field, like they know it. It's just how you communicate it and how you sell it. It's the same thing with Ford versus Chevy. Both make cool cars, both make good truck. But why do people buy a Ford over Chevy or vice versa? Why? Because it's their individual attachment to whatever branding and marketing that they're doing. I'm a Ford guy because my dad was a Ford guy. Always had Fords. I learned how to work on a car on a Ford. I'm a Mustang guy. I used to be a Camaro guy because of Transformers, but I learned and appreciated Mustangs because I worked them and I was more intimate with the Mustang and got in and worked on it and learned about cars on it. So, yeah, I'm going to buy a Mustang over Camaro. Maybe one day I'll buy a Camaro just for the fuck of it. But if I'm going to buy a sports car, I'm probably going to go for a Mustang. But point is, it's the same type of thing. So when people ask me what I do, bro, I go, God, I don't know how to say it. And I just say I'm a videographer because that's as simple as I'm going to put it. And be like, hey, here it is. And then that conversation starts and it's like, oh, well, is it your business? I'm like, yes, it is my business. And then boom, that kind of goes from there. So with this podcast, with the stuff I'm posting and all those different things, like I said, like I've been saying, like it's my way of trying to market myself. And it's hard. It's difficult to do because it's like I could sit here for another hour and break down everything and bring a whiteboard out and say, well, try this, but that's just not how I want to do it. Like, I tried it for a little bit of breaking it down, but like, credibility, bro. That's the word I was looking for the other day. Shout out to Paul. Paul, if you're watching, credibility was the word, not authority. But yeah, credibility. I don't have that much credibility yet. Yes, I've worked with some clients, but it's like, I'm still kind of putting those pieces together to show, hey, this is what we did. And, get to that point where, I have the website and people, when they search up, I need content creation, boom, my thing pops up first and all that. Like, I'm still working on that. So I'm just a business guy. I'm a business owner. And I'm just crafting. I'm working on the business. Like, outside looking in, it's like I'm building a car. Yeah, that's a pretty good analogy. Like, I'm building a car. It's my car. And I get to say and do whatever I want. And I have full authority over everything. And that's why I love it so much. I don't have to answer to anyone in my business except to myself. Yeah, pretty much. And then, I have to be my employee. I got to be the producer. I got to, not succeed for the client, but deliver for the client. So as I continue to grow, I'm starting to figure out, this thing I can outsource, this thing I can outsource, this thing I can outsource. I can start hiring employees for these, So I don't know how long that explanation was, but if you got this far, let me know if that makes sense. I don't know. There's a lot. I know I went back and forth there, but you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know how long that was. And I like talking about that kind of thing. So, like, the business is something that I enjoy talking about because it's like, well, not necessarily the business. JMC's cool and all, but like, it's not me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a part of me, but I'm very detached from it. Where it's like, if JMC were to fail, like, I don't even know how it would fail. Like, if I had to go bank, I don't know. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of things you can make business out of, but the point is, it's like I'm trying to grow it to the point where, JMC is on an app and hit the app and you say, hey, well, I need a content creator to come here. Boom. You have it. That's big dream. There's a good book called The Magic of Thinking Big. And, I just think that, I dream that big. Apple's a huge inspiration. I want to be the next, Apple that comes through where it's like, everyone, the product is so good that people buy it just because it's your brand. You know what I'm saying? And even if I fall short of that goal, I feel like that's a pretty, I won't be falling too short, if you know what I mean. Like, if you aim high and you fall short of the goal that you aim high, then you're probably going to be at a good level, I guess, if that makes sense. So, yeah. A little backstory. That feels good. Feels good to talk about that. I feel like I'm understanding myself, too. Like, it's also, it's like a personal journal entry, you know what I'm saying? But I'm also putting this out there for people to consume. So, I don't know. Or about 2 minutes away from the 30-minute mark. But I think the 30-minute definitely is the way to go from now on, because you can get into a good groove and then kind of just take it from there. So I like doing that. I'm not going to lie. So I might keep it. And then the topic of like business and marketing and stuff like that. We kept it on us, though, which is good. Because I feel like I'm allowing not to go too deep into the business stuff, but keeping it available for like people to like still be in tune with it and not kind of detach from it, because like if you care enough to listen, it's probably not for the business. It's probably more so for Javier, for me. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, I'm trying to figure out what it is about this podcast. What will people care about, in a sense of like, why would someone listen to this, I guess. And that's the theme I'm trying to find. It's like, okay, we're going to try this little business thing for a little bit. And then, because like we started off business, or not business, football. And then we dove into the more professional, but still me. It's still a personal story. So maybe it's the way that I tell that story too. It's instead of diving too deep, instead of diving super deep into like the business stuff, I could try and keep it surface level with the business things, so it's easier for people to latch on to. I don't know. Anyways, that's gonna do it for today's episode. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Keep pounding. It's the Panthers slogan. Not slogan. Oh, I guess it is slogan. Anyways, all right. Later, guys.